As I said at the top of the show, My Future NC was created last year with some pretty ambitious goals, including helping craft a common education agenda covering birth through college for the state of North Carolina. It's a big goal, but they have a strong group of leaders engaged in this effort, and two of them are with us today. So I want to welcome to the show Kristy Teskey. Kristy is the executive director of the commission, and next to her we have Dale Jenkins. Dale is the CEO of Medical Mutual Holdings, but he is also the co-chair of My Future NC. You're co-chairing that along with UNC System President Margaret Spellings and Andrea from
Andrea Smith from Bank of America.
Andrea Smith from Bank of America. Thank you for reminding me of that. All right, so let's just jump in and talk a little bit about My Future NC. Kristy, I want to start with you as the executive director. I guess sort of big picture, what is the purpose? I mentioned a couple of the goals in my top, of, sort of why was it created and what is the sort of, where did it come from?
Yeah, what we're seeing in North Carolina is a disconnect from what our workforce needs are and who is able to get to those jobs. And a lot of that has to do with education. We're seeing more and more that more than a high school diploma is needed in order to access the workforce of today and tomorrow. So with all of that and looking at the data of where over 60% by 2025 of our workforce needs more than high school, what do we do about that? Because right now we're at 47% in our state.
Right. So we've got. I think we're going to pull up on the screen. We've got a list of some of the sort of the key goals and outcomes you hope to. So we've got them on the screen right now.
Yeah, so one of our key goals is to build that comprehensive plan, as you said, from early childhood all the way through post-secondary, and I want to emphasize into the workforce. So workforce is a key piece in My Future NC. We also want to break down the silos and make sure that we're using all of our educational resources in the state and agree toward an agreed upon plan. Right now, we have great resources, but everybody's working within their own silo. How do we break down those silos and create a comprehensive plan?
Right.
And then we want to bring the public in. How do we raise public awareness and engagement? So this needs to happen at a community level. We can create a statewide plan all day long, but it is where the communities where this is going to happen, and we need the community buy-in.
Right. Well, Dale, that's what she just mentioned about the public. I think you've been participating. There have been some public events. I mean, one of the things that one of your co-chair, Margaret Spellings, said recently that North Carolina stands largely alone. There's, I think, 5 other states that don't have a goal, sort of stated goals. Why is having a goal important, sort of having a stated goal? I mean, maybe that's an obvious question, but why is that important?
Well, I think it's important because you can't measure things unless there's a metric. And so having a stated goal, having a benchmark that we shoot for, I think it will give us sort of the opportunity to measure our results and measure our success. One of the things I think we're interested in is being accountable. At the end of the day, we've got this ambitious goal, we've got ambitious plans. We want to put out a goal that people can measure, and then people can hold us accountable to say, did you deliver on what you said you would deliver? And we want to be able to hold others accountable for that. So I think that's the importance of having a goal. We're one of a handful of states that doesn't have an attainment goal. Certainly we believe we need one, and that's the goal we have as a commission. That's one of our goals, is to try to make sure that we achieve and have an attainment goal that we all can see, we all can measure, and we all can sort of be held accountable for.
Okay. Kristy, you just mentioned a minute ago about the sort of the education component being such a part of it. We've got a series of graphics that My Future NC has been using to talk about sort of the changing nature of sort of what it looks like today, sort of where our high school is. So maybe you can walk us through that. We're going to pull those up on the screen.
Okay,
because I think it's helpful for our viewers to sort of understand sort of what, because these are their kids. I mean, this is them and their children. So let's take a look at that and tell us a little bit about it.
Absolutely. So in North Carolina, for every 100th ninth grader, 87 will graduate on time, 72 intend to either go to college, enroll in the military, or join the workforce, but only 30 will graduate with an associate's or bachelor's degree within 6 years. So there's a couple of things in that data point that we want to peel apart. One is the intention. So we do have ninth graders that have intentions of seeing their future. But when we see what they are able to attain, can they get to their end goal? We're not seeing all of that. So from 87 to 72, we have a gap of students that have no intentions whatsoever that we need to address.
Right.
Then from the 72 to the 30, That is a big drop of people that have intentions and then are not able to complete. I think as educational systems, we need to look within our systems and to see what are the barriers that are existing that we can eliminate in order to create a more seamless transition for students.
Do you think we've done enough as a state to eliminate barriers? I mean, clearly that's a problem. I mean, because it's not like it's obviously we have students who have bigger dreams, but they're not able to fulfill them. Are there barriers that are there that we haven't figured out yet?
Well, I think there are. I think it's it's analogous to sort of a manufacturing facility. Think about you're trying to build a product. You've got 3 different plants, and those plants are in silos that really don't talk to each other very well. And so think about if you're trying to move that product through those 3 plants and hope it comes out at the end in a good fashion, the best fashion it possibly can. Unless there's cooperation, unless there's communication between all those plants, in our case, all the divisions within education, then there's very little chance you're going to get the best product you possibly can. So I definitely think that communications, the seamless nature of moving within K-12 to community college, to higher education, all that needs to be much better than it is today. The other thing I think we've not done a great job of is incorporating parents into this equation. We talk a lot about students, we talk about educators, we don't talk enough about parents and helping parents understand their duty are, what their expectations should be, and how they should help their students navigate through these education years. That's another goal I think we're trying to accomplish here, is to incorporate, sort of an all-inclusive, model that not only moves these, kids through the education system in a seamless way, but also brings out outsiders such as parents in and educates them on what the potential is for their kids.
All right. Now, but we're going to take a break in here in just a moment, but I want to ask you, Kristy, real quick, if I can. There's My Future NC, but there are several other commissions that are in task forces underway. The Governor's Commission on Access to Sound Basic Education, General Assembly's looking at school finance reform. Is there intention or plans, you talk about silos. We don't want to have a lot of commissions in silos either. Is that something that's you guys have an eye on?
We are, and the good news is we are talking. The idea is that My Future NC wants to lift up all of those ideas. Each one of those commissions has a very specific goal. And My Future NC is more broad, comprehensive, this idea of what are we all aiming for, and making sure that what results from those commissions can be seen within the overarching plan that we want everyone to reach toward.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about sort of workforce needs and skills, and also talk about sort of the, as we get into higher education issues too. But before we go to break, see if you can answer this question. In 1970, only 19% of North Carolina adults aged 25 to 64 had any post-secondary education, 6 percentage points less than the national rate of 25. What was that percentage by 2014?